Greetings to all life forms and life workers who have found this interview with musician Elliott Guist discussing quantum and galactic harmonic frequency patterns. Uh, I have known Elliott for about a year now, and he is an accomplished musician on many instruments and in many different forms. So, to introduce yourself, Elliott, please talk a little bit about your relationship with music.
Hi, I'm Elliott. I've played music for most of my life. Since I was 5, I started on piano, and when I was 7, I started violin, and I play guitar now, and it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it a lot, and it's been something that has been consistent for most of my life, and because of that, it has always been there, and I've regularly played music to get through all the things in life that we go through, and it also has been a main focus of mine to create what's around me.
Thank you for that. Have you used music as a form of, say, service to others, a way to service yourself?
Yeah, one of my current jobs is as a music teacher. I give violin lessons and mandolin lessons, and on the occasion that you bring in a banjo, I give banjo lessons to homeless and disadvantaged youth from the ages of 13 to 24. On their sixth lesson, they get a free instrument, and it has been honestly an honor to be involved with such an endeavor because for 5 years I myself was traveling, playing music for money, and just kind of living on the road, on the edge of life itself. And that was part of the music experience that I got to be privileged to go through and survive. So, good stuff, good times.
Thank you. What are some of the reactions you have, say, with a student after that sixth lesson, like when they first hold that instrument? What is some of the energy like for you to be part of that process?
I noticed that a lot of the energy that I've experienced is when they first start, they're either uncertain or they're extremely determined. And by the time that they get their sixth lesson and they get to choose any of the instruments that we have, and they get to basically take one home and practice it for the first time, because like if they really want to play it, then they'll be like, dang, I really wish I could just take this with me so I could practice it, so I could actually get better and then really learn something next time. That's our goal, is to get them to really adhere to continuously playing music, if not for any other reason than the benefit of its therapeutic essence itself. And thus, when you see them get that instrument on that sixth day, like their eyes light up and they're all like excited and they're like super happy. You can see them planning what they're gonna do, what kind of music they're gonna try to start making, and where they're gonna go, and what they're gonna use that instrument to do. And it's always an interesting thing when they come back through and you see them and they're like totally better, or something happened and they lost the instrument, but they now play a different instrument, and that like was the ultimate calling for them. So just being there as a waypoint has always been extremely, like, what's the word? Fulfilling.
Satisfying.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, much gratitude for your service on that. To lead in what you're talking about is, what is your history and knowledge with sound healing and sound therapy?
Well, there's certain frequencies that I've been made aware that create different types of resonance within people, even on a cellular or subcellular level, and hence a lot of the time I find that people can have really like profound like experiences in which they might be ill, and suddenly their illness it dissipates from that music, which creates a chain reaction, allowing people to be more capable of controlling their own energy in their environment and manifesting a better outcome for whatever situation it might be, or in a completely alternative sense, that person could just be like listening to music and it makes them feel better after going through some issues, or even just like just going to like a place and just trying to like relax and listening to a bunch of monks chanting while they play like a bowl and
The
people,
Himalayan singing bowl.
yeah, all kinds of stuff. Like there's a million ways you can go with it, and like it's really like particular to the individual because music is that universal language that transcends all thought really and conveys the purest of emotions without always putting words in there. Words also come with a lot of music too, but that's like two sides of a coin. There's like what, 8 sides of a coin.
Yeah, depends on the angle.
Yeah, the angle and the
Spin.
dimensional. Uh,
Placement.
yeah, definitely. The
So,
approach.
yeah. So with that, to continue to build on what you're saying is, have you received messages of sound composed, orchestral, or individual, just different sound patterns that seem very intentional when you receive them?
Yeah, although I've never really thought about it a lot, I've noticed that like since I was a kid, I've just always kind of had music in my head. Sometimes more than one song at the same time, which would be kind of a lot. But the more I played music, the more I was able to kind of just channel that into the instruments that I was becoming familiar. Um, and it became more or less an exercise of like kind of just letting all that like hubbub up in my skull kind of release into an artistic form, which wasn't always necessarily musical. Like I do other things as well that are different forms of like extroversion of
You can elaborate that for
yeah,
the audience, please.
yeah. Like I draw sometimes. I build little things. Like I don't know, do little arts and crafts at times. Like I knit. I sew my clothes back together. I plant plants. That was a little redundant, but yeah, I do all kinds of stuff. I make tea. I like to take part in various activities that are helpful in understanding the things that I enjoy, which are mostly music, plants, and food. I like to cook. I like to use colors a lot. I'm not very good with painting yet, but one of these days I'll get around to painting. I like to make music on my computer, synthesize music, and I like to make stuff out of plants. And yeah, lots of things.
Well, thank you for sharing this. It's always good for people to have more ideas. And with that, you mentioned a word that I find very interesting, audience of my channel as well, channeling. Would you like to define what that word means to you and how you use it in those activities you just listed?
Channeling can be utilized in various ways. I find that in channeling, it can be a multitude of its definitions at once, and that could be relative to like a TV channel, like where it's like a specific
Program.
yeah, and on a frequency level that's broadcast over a certain amount of
Bandwidth.
space
Yeah.
exactly, and it all kind of corresponds and recongregates at its from its host to whatever is picking up the signal.
The transmitter.
Yeah, and then it becomes like a where you're like plugging into a specific concept or mood or emotion or even like beyond that. It could also very much be as in like with channeling of like a river where there's energy coming through you and pouring through your mind and the light is like just kind of coming out of like all your fingertips, or you could even channel like spirit energy from like those from beyond, and you can contact different entities of various format from various places and spaces, and it's all very relative to the perception of it, but it's all like the same thing in essence. And
Kind of like a creative flow, like a just like an untapped underwater river just flowing through.
yeah, it's basically making a well, and then you just put your bucket out.
Yeah, just tap into the flow. Yeah.
Yeah, and it all goes somewhere. And sometimes I'll be like playing music with a bunch of people. I'll be jamming. That's a lot of how my music is. My musicality is specifically, pardon, it's based on a lot of times the sounds around me. So I just kind of
Collaborate.
channel my environment and basically um, musical byakugan and kind of just overall just absorb the energy and kind of mesh it and then throw in something that helps as a binding agent to adhere a cohesive sound together with all of those involved. And I've jammed with tons of people all around the country, countless different times, tons of different songs. Probably a lot of the songs were the same, and I just didn't know because I don't listen to a lot of music that people play. Like, you know, like the musical artists that are on the radio and stuff. I don't listen to a lot of that, unfortunately. So
The mainstream.
I have to catch up on music. That's one of the things. That's one of my personal goals of this year. That's fun. It's good to make goals. Good to make progress.
Yeah.
If you're not going forward, you're going backward because stagnation is just breeds bacteria, and you're gonna have no fun with that.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I got one final question for you here. Has there been encounters while you were playing publicly where you witnessed individuals that kind of broke cultural norms, kind of that you could sense were not like the other humans in some way?
Yes. So I have encountered various types of individuals. Sometimes in a musical setting, other times not. And I found that in a musical setting, they're usually attracted by the music or they're repelled by the music, depending on the music who's playing it and how much energy I'm putting into it. And depending on who else is also there, which I guess is kind of part of the prior prereq. But so, like, one situation, I wasn't necessarily playing music, but I did later after meeting this person, and this dude was definitely like not 100% human. Like you could kind of just tell based off of
Posture.
everything.
Yeah.
There was nothing that wasn't shouting something, and it was very very interesting to like interact in a situation where this guy was just like in the middle of nowhere in Minnesota, right? The land of like 10,000 lakes, probably more. They're smaller, ponds or whatever. But it's crazy. Like I was out there and like I met this guy at this gas station. Not no, it was just like a little food corner shop, and there was very few people there. I was just hanging out, and I was just getting some food, probably getting some snacks, and about to head out and just crash somewhere. And this guy comes up and he talks to us, and he ends up giving us money because we're broke traveling musicians. That's kind of our shtick. It's like, hey, let's just play music because we're entertaining. We're just trying to get by because life is what it is, quite a bit, but it's what it is. And yeah, he was definitely on a level, and there was nearly no mistake about it because he was able to like connect and resonate on things that like people don't usually. But then the manner in which he did so made it very self-evident that he was beyond merely a form of physical humanity.
Yeah. He transcended the third D.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Um, Elliot will play a song to finish this interview, but would you like to have any words or comments to end this interview on to any who might be listening?
Um, yes, why not? I tend to find that the best thinking and relaxing is done while doing something productive. But if you do it enough, then it will become more a habit and repetitive. So that will help create consistency in which one does these things without necessarily having them become like a redundant chore. So it always helps to. I don't know where I'm going with that at all.
Well, by when you do something, the act of doing it creates neural pathways in your brain, which creates the muscle memory to allow it to be better. So each minute you spend doing anything makes it easier to do the next minute.
Yeah, like if you're in a rut, if it's in any way, shape, or form, like just getting out and doing the thing, it's gonna pull you out of that rut because that rut is gonna make you feel not good. You're gonna feel like you're in a rut. That's why you would say that you're in a rut. And if you're in a rut, then that means you just gotta pull yourself up out of it. And it's not easy, and it's not always gonna be fun. But once you get it, then you'll feel so much better instead of letting that rut just get deeper and deeper and just it's like you gotta once you take self-initiative, and decide that you are worth it, then you can really accomplish amazing things. And if that's artistically, like musically, you're just not feeling it, just like, you know what, I'm gonna play music anyway. Or you could take a break. Take a break for a second, and then get back into playing it, and just start just doing it again, even if you're not feeling it. Take a reasonable break, but then don't break for too long, because then you'll
be broken.
Yeah, you'll lose all your you lose all your aptitude, and you'll get all rusty. But even if you do get rusty, just jump back in, just start doing it again. But try to keep it somewhat consistent. Consistency is life, and life's only constant is change. And if we're constantly growing,
consistently
then,
changing,
yeah, that's our consistent change is growth. And growth isn't always going to be easy. That's why when you're growing up, it hurts because you're going through growth pains, and you get your aches in your legs and your knees. And
heart.
Yeah, you grow and you learn things, and life can become emotional, and be going through any type of like emotional issues, like it's like, all right, well, it sucks, it does, and there's no denying that because it makes you feel bad. But you could also, like, if you want to try to feel better, that'll probably help if you start doing things that you like, do things that make you feel better.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that because life sucks, which it does, trust me, I get it. Like if you're getting behind on stuff, or or things are just piling up, then just be like, you know what? I'm gonna take this time that I have that I'm feeling upset, and I'm gonna actually try to take away the pieces of negativity that are creating my illness or my pain or my dis-ease, and create something within that. Because once you learn how to deal with those things, then not only will they become easier to figure out how to deal with in the future, because they're always going to be intense emotional life struggles that we go through. But once you understand how to work through it, then it will be more possible to work through without as much,
pushback.
Yeah, and that's the emotional level, that's the inspirational level. If you're like financially not in a good place, like, need a job. I mean, if you don't need a job, if you don't want a job, don't do a job. Be okay with having nothing. Like I did that for 5 years, and I was super happy. Like, but if you live a lifestyle that requires you to do things, then do it. That's I currently am doing that. I'll work 3 jobs randomly, and I was perfectly content not doing anything, just playing music all the time. But I mean, that's also part of my musical path, so I can't necessarily speak on anyone else's behalf but my own.
Well, we all appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So, and thank you everyone for this interview. It will end after this improvised song from my great guest here. Thank you all.